This is the Escape Podcast for Star Wars: The Old Republic. This week, the fork is with us, and by that I mean the universe storylines are currently forked. We're going to talk about that fork in the SWTOR story and related comments from Charles Boyd to the RP community that talk all about that. We're also going to finish our visit with our buddy Kilron and cover game, guild, and community news for the week. Our broadcast astromech is EPC 270, which means there's only about 75 more episodes till we get to 300.
Yes, that's right.
And playing alongside me is Seema. Hi, Seema. How's it going?
I'm going. It's going well. I see your math is impeccable as always.
On point, as
Yes.
the kids say. Yep.
Well, we are recording on Tuesday night this week, so that means we just finished Mandatory Fun Night, and we had like a high variety night. So we went and did Taboro's Courtyard, which is a really good conquest deal on the week when you also get conquest points for doing anything from the operations terminal. So we got a bunch of points. Like if you had the full stronghold bonus, it was over 10,000 conquest points just to kill the Taboro's Courtyard. And then we went and killed commanders because we're focusing a little bit more on trying to gather up encryptions. And we even found a named commander whose shield was coming down, so we were able to get a framework from him. And then we found one commander that was being killed. So Max bought the guy out for 1.8 million credits. And then he ran away and joined our group, and then we killed them all together. We got a bunch of encryptions from that guy. And then we went and did a thing on CZ-198. We ran the rampages on CZ-198, which is a little bit like, thunderstorm in a bottle because it's such a small area. And we had 16 people. We're going from room to room, trying to find anything left alive because it was very crowded. We went on the PvP instance in the hope of being less disruptive to other people trying to quest there, but it was still rather crowded, but it didn't take long, so we weren't there long.
Right.
So that was just tonight, though. Last week, I actually ended up, I didn't think I would do this many, but I ended up doing Conquest on something like 7 characters, and I was going back to like some of my DVL characters that I haven't touched in a long time. In fact, I went to Ilum and joined a group to kill a world boss, and that's when I realized I wasn't in the spec I thought I was in. So I didn't have my button set up at all, and I wasn't wearing any armor.
So the usual.
So,
That sounds like a normal day
so I was
to
like
me.
I would hit a button and nothing would happen, and I would go, oh, that's because that's, a vehicle or something. So I was just like trying to hide inside this group and hoping nobody was looking at me to see if and would notice that I wasn't wearing any gear.
That's funny.
But yeah, so then I went back to my stronghold after that, and I got her all situated and got her some gear and an outfit. Well, it's kind of an ugly one, but still. And I thought, you know what, I should just get her ready for conquest, and she'll just be one of my because she's a Sork, a DVL that I made back during DVL for whatever reason, one of the many reasons. And I'm like, now I have this like array of like 3 or 4 Sorks that I can do rampages on, and just get them ready. They'll just be my conquest team,
Yeah.
So
which is fine.
Then I actually leveled her in cybertech so that up to the point where she could do invasion force, because everyone else at that point already was over 15. I'd make personal target on, but I still had a couple of days where I could do invasion forces. I'm like, sure, I don't have a cybertech at all on the imp side, so why not? So yes, more than you wanted to know about me and Conquest this week. Anyway, how was your week, Max?
My week was also good. Bunch of conquests on a bunch of characters. We were talking a little bit in the pre-show. It's easy to do conquest on the Commando. It's easy to do conquest on the Sork. Still pretty easy on my Vanguard. My Sentinel, though, my no, I guess we were all on the Imperial side. So my Marauder, it's just sort of annoying with Conquest, with Rampage. If it's a single target, I like it, and I can leap in. If it was like all gold mobs, or even like doing the heroic on Ilum, where I'm just fighting just a couple mobs and they're strongs and elites, that's just fine. It's when you have these bigger spread out groups and you got to kill like 5 things and you got to like leap back and forth, and some of them are ranged, and you run out of force power, so your spammable AoE doesn't work, and all of that. I wish they had a little easier to use AoE that you could use at range, which basically I wish they had Lightning Storm. It would be great. But regardless,
I look for areas where, yes, they don't have ranged mobs.
So,
I mean, I can't find them everywhere, but
on Ilum, there are those groups of the little creatures, the little frog-like creatures. What are lisks? Lisks.
Yeah.
Lisps.
Yeah.
Mike Tyson that they're lisps. Anyway, sorry, Mike. I did not. I
Mike
apologize unreservedly. Please don't punch me. Yeah, those are great. Those are perfect because they, you leap in as melee, they all run to you, and then you can do a smash or something, and you can hit them all at once. So those are great. Those are the best. So you're right. You can find good groups of mobs. There just aren't a ton of those. Going to Hoth and going to the Starship Graveyard was more the problem, because then you've got those pirates in the Starship Graveyard, but they're a little bit spread out, and if you're ranged, you can just stand in one place and everything dies. If you're melee and you're hopping around and your leap is on cooldown and all that kind of stuff. I was also excited this week, and I think we're going to be seeing some results from it soon. We're talking with some of our guild leveling leaders. So that's BC and Zen, 2 of our newest officers. They're doing a lot of planning behind the scenes on what that looks like, what unlocks we're going to go after. It's fun seeing that work happen, and a lot of the prep for 5.10 come together. So that was fun in this past week and in this next week. So we'll all be ramped up for that coming soon. And with that, I think we can talk about some news.
Now, an Imperial News Network report.
In the news, coming from the Dev Tracker and from other places. So this we've been getting smattering of news announcements that have been hitting Twitter, and I've been seeing some on Reddit first as well, because they're hitting in a couple different places. But one of the bigger interesting ones was called Jedi Under Siege State of the Galaxy, a news post that was posted to the website that you can find as a news article on the main SWTOR.com website. And it's sort of told in an RP style. It's told from the perspective of Lana, as if Lana is writing this brief for you that's explaining where the state of the galaxy is as you're going into 5.10. We'll talk a little bit more about the complexities and the implications of it, but just so you have an overview and you realize why you want to go read this, it does require you to pick your point of view, because we do have choices that mattered leading up to this point, especially on Iocath. So you have to pick your point of view of who is alive and who is dead, basically, whether you sided with the Imperial side or sided with the Republic side. And then it lays out what's going on. A couple interesting points that you'll want to keep an eye out. It does talk about, in either of those paths, what the current state of the Republic leadership is, what the current state of the Imperial leadership is. That Imperial leadership includes the state of the Imperial Council, the Sith, and the Emperor, the seat of the Emperor, and who might be holding that position at this point. Let me say it that way. And a little bit of detail on what's up with the Jedi Order. A special mention of Satele, which I thought was interesting as part of that. It also talks about, for whatever reason, it gives you a little section about the state of Zakul. And then I also thought it was very interesting that it talks about the Hutt cartel, what their deal is lately, and why Nar Shaddaa is becoming important as a neutral hub for trade. I don't know if that's going to become relevant within the 5.10 timeframe. I, you know, I would normally say if this was a movie, I would say yes, that's going to be important because within an 90-minute script, you don't put things in, you don't execute a setup like that unless there's going to be a payoff. It may or may not be the case in this case. If there was, I don't know, if this was a complete narrative, and then I would expect that this means that we're going to see something from both Zakul and the Hut Cartel as part of the 5.10 6.0 storyline.
Yeah,
That may
I
not
expect
actually
it.
be the case.
Yeah.
I don't know if I do though. I mean, I would normally expect it, but it could have just been thrown in there for color commentary at this point, because they don't lose anything by throwing things in for color commentary, as you would in a set narrative like a book or a movie. So that's all I'm saying.
I'm totally expecting it.
Seema's saying,
Go ahead.
Hut Cartel, you can bank on it. It's coming.
Second
in
rise of the Hut Cartel.
the second rise of the Hut. Ooh, I like that.
The
Seema
Hut
says,
Cartel rises again.
do you have a date for when the Hut Cartel will rise again, Seema?
December 11th.
You were spot on with your last prediction.
Everything is December 11th.
So what else are you predicting for December and January, Seema?
Oh, I am actually predicting based on some pretty solid information, some events in December and January. First of all, right now we're in the Relics of the Gree week, November 27th to December 4th, but that's going to come up again December 25 to January 1. So we'll have 2 Grees. The reason I'm mentioning it is because the Gree vendors have some items on them that you can buy with a combination of snowballs and the Gree currency. I'm not sure if they have it up now, but they will for sure have it the week of January 25th. We're also going to have Bounty Contract Week a couple times, once in December and then once in January. And then the Life Day event, I should probably mention this first, kind of bearing the lead. That's going to be December 11th through January 15th, so about a month of snowballs. So look forward to that. And there's going to be double rewards event December 20th to the 31st. So almost 2 weeks of double rewards right during the end of December.
Nice. Double rewards is always fun, and having it overlap the Life Day event is
Life
fun.
Day, right? Because the snowballs. I think. Plus, it's just good to have this mapped out because we were wondering when. Yeah, now I want to see what the conquest calendar is going to be.
Yes.
But I'm glad to have these mapped out.
Right. So those look good. Also up in the news, a tiny little bit of news that showed up this past week, which we were happy to hear, is that the PTS closed, which you would want to hear because that means that they're locking things down and they're ready for 5.10, which we know is coming next week now. If they were still messing around with PTS, that would not be a good sign. So I'm taking that as a good sign. So that's that. And then, we still wanted to mention this thing, didn't we, Seema?
Yes. Are you referring to Paxton Raw?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Reminder that you need to be a subscriber by December 14th to get Paxton Raw as a companion. Paxton Raw, the pirate. There will be a recruitment mission for him, and there is an achievement for him, but they're not related. You can do the achievement, but you still will need to either be a premium player by 12/14, and by premium, I mean subscriber. And you can, I assume it's going to be like Shea Vizsla and Darth Hexa, where you get the item, you can click on it and get them right away, or you can do the little recruitment mission. I usually click.
Yeah, I do the recruitment mission once, and then I do a lot of clicking, which is just fine.
I'd do them never.
Never.
The first couple times I'm like, oh no, I want to do the quest, and then after that I'm just like, click.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm kind of looking forward to him because he looks cool, and I really enjoy both Shea Vizsla and Nico Okar. So I'm hoping Paxton Raw will be cool like that too.
Right. And he'll be another one of those companions that you can bank on, which, you don't have to worry about it
Yeah.
getting taken away from you at some point. I wonder what the gift situation will be, because it'll be another good one to take to Influence 50, because it'll be something you can get at level 1 and never get taken away and all that kind of thing. So,
Right. And if you do like I did, where you have a level 70 character that's got no ship and only 2 companions, and you want to level a profession, then you click on Shay Vizsla, Darth Hexed, Paxton Raw, and Nico Carr, so that you have a bunch of companions to run crew missions.
exactly. And now we've got basically a full crew, a full complement. So that's nice.
Yeah.
How about guild news, Seema?
December, we are going to do a mega event in December. It's going to be on Nar Shaddaa, and we're going to run around and throw snowballs at what are they? Fatigued droids or tired
Overheated.
droids or dead droids? Overheated, that's what it is. Overheated droids. That's going to be on the 18th. That'll just be a fun, relaxing night. We might hop into Plug DJ and play Christmas music. And we also might invite anyone else who's on Nar Shaddaa to join in, and just so that we can keep each other informed of where the tired droids are, so we can run and throw snowballs at them.
Yes. Yeah, that tends to work out really in a fun sort of community way on Nar Shaddaa. You'll get people just in general that keep calling out where the overheated droids are, and you'll have these big swarms of people, like kindergartners playing soccer, that are just like running from droid to droid to get through that event. It's rewarding in a number of ways, because you do get snow-covered parcels, which are currency to get little bits of stuff. You do get the decos, the hollow tree decos that drop off the overheated droids themselves as well, and you get CXP every time one of those hits. And it's not insignificant if you're in a double CXP week and you've got a boost running, and it sort of stacks up. I know people that have put some serious levels on characters just sitting around throwing snowballs for an afternoon, so that's fun.
And if you've never done it before, the overheated droids, it's not like people run over and kill them so they're gone right away. It's you run over and throw snowballs at them, so they're up for however long they're up. You don't have to worry about people killing them out from under you. I mean,
right.
You do need to be on your toes though.
And you don't have to have
side of the room.
Right. You don't have to have tagged it. You can come in late. You don't have to be in a group.
Right.
So it's multi-tagging. What the heck? The heck do you mean? That's what we've been talking about. So finally we get like there is multi-tagging in Star Wars. Huh. Fancy that. Anyway, also up in community news, we've got a couple things. We've got a handful of things, and they're all from SWTOR again, doing amazing work for the community. I highly encourage everyone to check out 2 things that showed up on Reddit. One was a very extensive post that she made welcoming WildStar players to Star Wars The Old Republic. I'd recommend everybody read it, because there's some interesting tidbits in there. Like, she's got all of the Cantina codes that are still active. There's like 4 codes that if you forgot to use them or you haven't used them on your account, you can put those in and get free mounts on your account. But this very nice, well-produced, well-put-together post which says, hey, if you're coming from WildStar and you're coming to the game, this is sort of the state of the game, and this is what events look like, and this is how you can get involved, and this is how you can play, and this is... these are resources that you can look at. So a really, really, really nice job that she did with that.
Yeah.
The second thing.
Concise. It has so much info in it. She's really good at this.
Yeah. Yeah. And then in a similar structure, in a similar template, a very well-structured post relevant to my interests, Star Wars Celebration. SWTOR is doing a ton of work behind the scenes to bring the Star Wars The Old Republic fan community to Star Wars Celebration. She applied to the event committee to get a booth, so there's a 10 by 10 space on the show floor that she's got allocated. that she'll be running. She's got members of the community and podcasters and bloggers and people like Marcus from Working Class Nerds and maybe me that are going to show up and be part of that. She's got a bunch of things planned for it. She's going to try to have a photo backdrop and some props and make it all about Star Wars: The Old Republic. I think she's also trying to maybe get some of our BioWare friends to be part of that. And she's organizing a group of volunteers to be manning that booth and sort of talk about Star Wars: The Old Republic and the fan community to anybody that is interested. So it's amazing post, amazing stuff up there. I will be at Star Wars Celebration. I've got a few groups that I'm juggling, so I may not be in the booth all that much, but I will be around and I will be checking in multiple times throughout the weekend, and I will be happy to hook up with connect up with lots of people at Star Wars Celebration. So I'm really looking forward to that. I'm sure we'll talk about that tons more as it gets closer, but good post that's up now because there's lots of announcements to be made early on that. And then she did one other thing, didn't she, Seema?
I have a feeling she must have. Oh yes, she made another post about what to expect in 5.10, and I didn't read it. I read the beginning of it, and I watched the beginning of her video, and it's very spoilery, which is she makes very clear up front. But I think she set it up from what I took from the beginning of it, that she's going to go through all the story elements that lead to where we are right now and and to use that to inform our concept of what we'll see when 5.1 drops and the story starts up again. So I am going to watch it because I don't care about the spoilers because I have played through everything. So I just haven't had a chance to yet, but in typical SWTOR style, I'm sure it's very comprehensive.
Yes, it's getting a lot of attention. I've not seen a video sort of as upvoted as highly as that one lately. So I haven't yet gone all the way through it myself either, but all of her stuff is high quality. So I'm sure that's going to be key. Two other community shout outs I wanted to get out there. Galahard, who is in the chat room right now, is also a streamer. So Sir Galahard here, Sir_Galahard on Twitch, been streaming quite a bit. I keep seeing those posts pop up. Is going to be taking his streams to a new level and is looking to. I hope I can announce this for you, or you have already announced it, Galahard. But looking slightly later this month, maybe I'll be a little more ambiguous. Doing something a little bit bigger for that stream. So check out Sir Galahard on Twitch. Check out what's going to be going on later this month in maybe about a week or 10 days, and looking forward to seeing more from Sir Galahard over time. And then also definitely a shout out to our pals, Working Class Nerds, another AIE related podcast. Marcus and Nick are having Dent on 2 days from now. So this week on Thursday, that's the 6th. They're gonna be going live. So they've been mostly just doing their show recorded and then posting it. They're gonna try to get into some live versions of their show, and they're bringing Dent on for their first live one.
Also, I want to say shout out to the chat room for being here for us, helping with our sound levels, keeping us honest during the show. In other words, correcting us. And just being overall fantastic people. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much. All right. So that gets us back to the story, and while we're doing our story, while we visit Kilron actually on his battleship over there, you can sort of see out the space station where we're standing in the shuttle bay right now.
Superposition story upon story.
Yes. We're going to talk about that story, superposition. So quantum superposition, where something exists in two states superimposed. We are going to be talking about that whole deal where the galaxy is in this weird state, and we already saw it in that post that came out, sort of the state of the galaxy from Lana, where they can't just put a here's the state of the galaxy, because there isn't one state to the galaxy anymore. There's at least two major ones, and then there's even substates underneath that, which puts us in a weird position. So we'll talk a little bit about that too. So that sounded to me like Yoda, like a Yoda philosophy place where the galaxy is in a weird place right now.
Difficult to see. Always emotion is the future.
And that's sort of the way I think about it. That's. I know we can kick off the story here, but I think things are in this weird state right now, and they're going to have to be in motion in weird ways if we're ever going to get back to a single unified canon, which I think is important, and I'll mention why as well. But first, let's hop in this shuttle, Seema, and go visit Kilron in his pad. I heard he's got a nice ship here. Hey, you got a nice ship there. I wouldn't want anything to happen to it, if you know what I mean. Why is there? Are we gonna? We'll come back here later, I guess. Wonder why there was heal stations here.
Oh yeah, there's a fight here.
Because usually that means there's a boss. Like a boss, you gotta fight.
Like
All right, so we're let me turn up the volume on the game just a little bit. We're playing with the volume this week. I know it's been low in the past, so I'm gonna crank it up a little bit here, especially as we get to Kilron, and we're gonna want to hear his voice. But hopefully our voices are a little bit higher on the deal. Great. So while we're killing this trash, let's talk about this weird state that the galaxy is in. So the problem that we have right now, so this is going to get a little spoilery for anybody that hasn't completed Ilum and isn't ready for 5.10, which I would expect most people are, but I'll give you that final warning here. We're spoilery for everything through, not Ilum, Iocath. Everything through Iocath.
We knew what you meant.
Everything leading up to 5.10, because the deal is, so here comes the spoiler part. You sided with the Republic or you sided with the Empire, and in doing that, either Darth Acina died or Jace Malcolm died. So that's step one. And doing that, putting us in that state, then gives us this weird place where either the leadership, the leadership of the Sith and the Empire looks one way or it looks another way. So if you read that post from Lana, the Acina is either the Empress, or she's not. And then the same thing about sort of like the overall leadership on the Republic side. Jace Malcolm is the Supreme Commander, or Jace Malcolm is dead. So you can't, these are like major parts of the game, the leadership of the Empire and the leadership of the Republic, and it's not in a single state. So given that, you're at this weird place where they couldn't just write one update and there's not one canon and there's not one story. You can't say, oh, the Emperor is X, because the Emperor's not just X. For some people, the Emperor is Acina. For other people, the Emperor is what? What's his name? Darth Arwal? Darth? I don't know. I forgot. There, his name is even in here. So if you scroll down, it's Hutt Cartel leadership, Sith Empire, loss of Acina, Emperor Vowran. So Vowran is the Emperor, or Acina is the Emperor. Did they even on the Republic side, if Malcolm is dead, then they don't even have a Supreme Commander.
Yeah. They haven't found one yet, yeah.
So
it does sound like Darth Narwhal.
Earth normal. So what that prompted, so so that's weird enough as it is. What that prompted apparently in some of the RP communities, and in some of the places, I guess it's on Engine, ENGIN, that guild website, there's an RP discussion group. And I guess they were giving Charles Boyd a lot of grief, and some of the RPers were giving each other a lot of grief about what's canon, and the canon police were treating people poorly and describing, how people should and shouldn't be acting, and what's real and what's not. So that prompted another post from Charles Boyd, which I have here as well. And it was, I think he mostly posted it I think it was a Twitter. It was like four posts on Twitter.
Yeah, it was Twitter.
And he basically said, "Hey everyone, since I've been answering a number of questions from role players lately, I want to take a moment to clarify my intent in giving these answers. The TLDR is, don't let anything I say keep you from having fun with your friends, role-playing whatever you like." Then he goes on, he goes on and on, but mostly he's saying, yes, the story is in this sort of indeterminate state, and I'm providing you some guidance for where I think pieces of the story is across these two states, but, RP is RP, and you should RP however you want. Which is fine. And I think that's the way it should work too. Now, not everybody thinks that way. Some RPers think there should be a single canon, and some RP groups will force a single canon and will police it, and will think that you're bad if you don't adhere to that single canon. That's weird, but that's their prerogative too. So that's where that stands.
It's not only RPers that do that. There's plenty of people that don't RP, but they'll say it doesn't make sense. You can't have a Chiss Jedi, or you can't have,
Right, it doesn't fit with their head canon and the way that they think
it
should work.
Their galaxy view, yeah.
But this is so weird because depending on the choice, choices matter. Depending on the choice you picked, your gameplay may be significantly different now than someone else's. The leadership of the Republic and the Empire may be different. So let's talk to Kilron here. He's going to come and say hi to us, and then we'll get back to that a little bit and talk about some of the implications. What's up, buddy? I'm not your buddy, pal. That's what Kilron's going to say.
Well, I've seen some incredible things in my time, but you've just topped the list. I'm sorry I couldn't greet you in person.
We're incredible.
If only you had let me know you were stopping
All
by.
6 of us.
Now, here finally, I think that the Jedi story gets its first interesting responses. You're able to come back with, like, are we inconveniencing you? Inconveniencing you?
We could come back later.
Oh, no, not at all.
Yeah, I love that.
Quite prepared for your visit. My men will be along shortly to escort you to the accommodations I've arranged.
Here we go again. This isn't as good. Recommend whatever you'd like, Kilron.
I guess this is where the fun begins.
Iron Fist wasn't the only weapon in my arsenal.
That was good.
Nor the deadliest. See you soon.
I sent you the easiest one first.
Oh, Crater Face. Yeah. That's always the best. I'll send you someone weak. And send you all my minions one at a time, because that's the way we do things in this universe. Okay. Now, the implications of our Schrodinger's universe. So everybody know what we mean by superposition in Schrodinger's universe and Schrodinger's cat. This is in quantum physics, where the superposition of quantum particles can exist in 2 states at once, and it's not resolved until the waveform collapses and you figure out which state it was actually in. For the purposes of the experimentations in quantum physics, it actually does exist in 2 states. It's not maybe it only exists in one of those states. It's actually existing in both of those states, and it makes really weird, interesting things happen at the quantum level. So our universe is in a superposition of states. It's actually existing in 2 different states right now, and there's not really a good way for us to collapse those 2 states back into a single coherent state anymore. If I was Charles, if I was the lead writer, I would be working really hard to collapse the universe back into a single state. Why did we get here? Seema, you pointed something out to me which I thought was pretty interesting as we led into this in the pre-show, which was this was all due to the desire to have choices that matter, right? So why don't you explain what you were sort of saying there as far as that? And
Well, I mean, I feel like they got in trouble over the whole choices matter thing when they had us choose between Torian and Vet. And
Right.
like,
because we were begging for choices that mattered, right?
and it's sort of like, yeah, and sort of, so basically what that means is now Torian is dead for everyone. Torian can never appear again in a story, or Vet can never appear again in a story, because for someone playing that story, she's dead. So
Right.
now, instead of backing off from that, they've really leaned into it, because now it's galaxy leaders that they're basically doubling. So
Yeah.
like, they could never go back to the mercenary story and have just a mercenary story, because is Torian dead or is Torian alive?
Right.
So
Right.
goodbye ever. I mean, not that they were saying that one day they might go back to a story, but now they can't.
And I thought you said something really
Unless
interesting.
they're just going to have infinite forks, right? So like, oh, here's the mercenary story if you didn't kill Torian, and here's the mercenary story if you did. Or he left, and so he's either dead or alive, but in any event he's not here, so maybe, I don't know. But he was pretty in love with me, so I don't know.
And don't forget, each time there's a fork, it's not +1 story, it's power of 2. So after 8 forks, you have 65,568. Am I getting my binary wrong? You have a lot of stories. So the other thing I thought that was really interesting that you said, Seema, was everybody got all mad because they said choices should matter, and then so they finally made some choices which actually mattered, and nobody then said, oh, great job, I'm glad you made choices that finally mattered. No, they still weren't happy, and half the people weren't happy, and they didn't like gain anything by getting us into this weird place, unfortunately. I mean, they finally gave people what they were asking for, choices that matter, and now we're in this weird state because of it, and no one said, hey, good job. Nobody did. So
yeah, nobody said this is what we meant, this is what we wanted. I mean, and whenever I get that feeling like BioWare is reacting because of player hostility, I just feel like that's not the right move. They have to
No.
keep their big boy pants on and write the best story they can write, and not try to craft a story that's created by this huge amorphous mob that is the player community.
Right, because you sort of got to go the Steve Jobs route, and you can't ask the people what they want, because they don't know what they want, and they don't understand what you're going to give them until you give it to them. So to set your vision, write your story, and stick with it. I think you got to do that, or you get yourself into this weird state. I applaud them for continuing to stick with it, and it's not bad at this point. We just sort of have these two major versions of the universe, and I think, as I said, if I was king of the writing team at this point, I would want to resolve both of those separate universes back into a single universe, and I would want to do that for a number of reasons. I think the only way you can do that, let's start there, the only way you can resolve things back into a single universe is to take everybody that's dead in any of the universes and kill them in the other universe also. So Jace Malcolm has to be dead in both universes. So you have to like kill him off in the universe that he's not dead yet, or retire him in some way. Same thing with Asina. You have to get rid of Asina, and you have to have one emperor across both universes. And Asina has to be taken off the map as well. And Torian has to be taken off the map, and Vet has to be taken off the map, and everybody who could have gotten killed, and and Koth is off the map, and Arkin is off the map. You take those pieces off the chessboard because you can't have two chessboards that don't match, and the number of pieces on the board need to end up the same. Then you merge back together into one story. Why do I think that that's really important? For a couple reasons. So one I'll throw out, and then I'll be interested in your perspective on this, Seema. But I feel like if we want, which I do, if we want Star Wars: The Old Republic lore and canon to have a real place in Star Wars lore and canon, I don't think you can have this weird choose your own adventure weird state. I mean, there has to be like the story, the book, the encyclopedia of. I mean, you couldn't say that. You couldn't we could make a Revan movie right now, right? But if the Revan movie was, well, for some people Revan, lived to the age of 80, but for other people he died when he was 40 because the hand of the Emperor, got into a fist fight with him and punched him out. That would be really weird. So you have to have one canon if you want it to persist. How about you, Seema? I mean, do you agree that one canon is important? I mean, what's your deal?
For me, it's important because it begins to. It has the opposite effect of things mattering. It's sort of like nothing matters if anything can happen.
Yeah.
And you just get a new reality.
Right.
So, and it's hard for me to say, okay, there's two versions of this galaxy. I go immediately to there's infinity versions of reality if we're going to go versions of reality. And so it's sort of like baseball. It's hard to care about a particular baseball game because they play 1,000 games in a season.
And we don't then have a common core for all of us to meet at the water cooler and talk about. We can't say, hey, what do you think of that? What do you think of that Emperor Narwhal? Because some people have no idea who Emperor Narwhal is, And
yes, I believe. I mean, and now the fact that we have two galaxies is a plot point itself. So maybe that's what the story is going to be about: is how the galaxy timeline gets mended.
And I don't know. I mean, I get what you're saying, and that would be really interesting if they turned it into a multiverse thing. But I don't think that's really what's happening. I think they're just saying, for some people it's this, for some people it's this. Some people are just in a different chapter of the Choose Your Own Adventure.
Yeah.
I would love a multiverse type of story. In fact, this whole concept and me thinking about it this week got me to the point where I wanted to jot down notes for a short story I want to write someday where there is a multiverse. Oh, hold on.
You're leaving me with precious few options.
He's gonna send more bad guys to kill us apparently. But I wanted to write a story where there is a multiverse, and you can take your stream of consciousness and switch it back and forth between the various multiverses, and you end up with a situation where you need to converge the multiverses that you're working across to get yourself back to a coherent state, or you'll go insane. Type of story, which is sort of where I feel like where Charles is with his writing right now, and sort of make it a metaphor for that. Otherwise, you're gonna go crazy.
And what if, what if it gets split further, and then they have to do a Lana post, and it's got to have 4 stories.
4, then 8, 16, 32, 64, 128, 256, 512, 200, 1024, 2048. Yeah,
yes, it goes up fast. Keep going. I want to hear more numbers. Also sing them.
Should I do them in Roman numerals? You could have
Oh,
II, then
that's another
IV,
thing.
then then IX, and then XIII, XIV. I'll mess it up.
I am looking forward to the story, and I'm looking forward to 5, to the content that's dropping on the 11th. Yeah, let's see how it works out, I guess.
Yes. Yeah, we'll have to see how it works out. I, you know, I hope that things do come back together. I hope we get the universe reassembled.
I hope so too. That would be nice.
Yeah. And I don't, for the record, I don't care about choices that matter. I do not care. Just do what you need to do, and I want to ride the story train. I was very fine with choices not
Right.
mattering.
I
For all of the class stories, which everybody loved, none of those choices mattered, or very few. And really, none of them really mattered.
Right.
Remember when you used to be able to
Right.
like kill a companion, in beta? You used to be able to
Yes.
kill a companion or not take a companion for at least one of the class stories, and then they had to like take that away and stop that to make things better. That was just fine. I was fine with those days, and everybody loved the class stories, and that's really what made that, the sort of sold the game for a lot of people back in the day. So I'm fine with coming back to that.
But I also, I've kind of ranted about this before. Choices that matter, doesn't have to mean, affect the level of your gear, or a companion dies, mechanical things like that. It can just mean that your character has a new attitude.
I don't want to do anything
Yeah.
drastic,
Yeah.
but I will.
It doesn't have to be something that
Now.
that's, makes its imprint on the galaxy. It's
Right.
what makes it rewarding is if your actions, imprint on your character in some way, like it affects how you approach situations, or the things that you say, or the things that you think privately, or whatever. Instead of always saying like, yeah, I'm the best, maybe you learn along the way that you're not even close to the best, and you stop saying I'm the best.
Right. Maybe you
That would matter.
you go from dark 5 to start swinging back towards the light side, and there's a reason for that, and there's a rationale, and that becomes part of your story and part of your canon. That would be kind of cool. This
was like my favorite moment when I
On
first
Killer on
started playing
Ship?
this game.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
When I
we're
realized
on-
that we were going to have to jump down into the garbage, I'm like, yes.
Yeah, so we just jumped down into the trash pit. I wanted more to happen here, because again, it's so iconic. We're on now we're not on a fully operational battle station, but we are on an Imperial destroyer, and we had to drop down a maintenance shaft into a garbage pit. I wanted the walls to close in or something. I wanted a pit monster to poke its head out from inside the goo. Is that your turtle making that noise?
Sorry. No, that was my fingers typing, making that noise.
No, something was growling. I think that was your turtle.
My fingers were not growling. So, yeah.
Okay. Well, I think we covered that. Well, we covered it for the most part. The only other piece that, maybe we can cover just a tiny bit more is the RP. So this is particularly problematic for the RP community, as, we sort of alluded to. And that's where this sort of blew up for Charles, which was a bunch of RPers asking a whole bunch of questions and the implications and trying to work things out, and some people getting bent out of shape. What, Kilron? We gave him no other choice. Yes, this is true. So I could see this being particularly problematic for the RP community. Now, what I didn't realize, although I started to realize more and more, is the RP community is relatively significant for Star Wars: The Old Republic. In fact, I keep seeing it more and more than I ever have on the fleet. So, and Seema's pointed this out before too. If you go into the fleet on our server Starforge, you know how the Imperial fleet has sort of like in the center is sort of like a cantina down there. There's often, you know, all throughout the week you'll see our peers down there, and a lot of them will be talking in /say and having these really cool conversations. I was getting a kick out of that. Didn't you see some guys having some sort of conversation the other day that was?
Yeah, every once in a while, I see a really good one, and I use that window snipping tool, cut it out, and show it to whoever I can get to look at it, basically.
Yeah, like one of the guys was they were doing like an old friends meeting back up, and one of them said, "Oh, you know, how you doing, you son of a bitch?" And the other guy was like, you know, "Oh, my you know, how you doing, my man? I see you, your hair's longer." And you know, they're like throwing these details in and crafting this whole conversation that was really natural dialogue. It almost felt like written dialogue, almost like, you know, like a Han Solo Lando Calrissian type of meetup. And it was natural. It flowed well. It worked well. It was a good cadence.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that seemed kind of fun.
But I just want to say it's you keep saying the RP community is, you know, and blah 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 blah. Anybody who's interested in lore, though, is going to have all these issues.
Yes.
And that's distinct from an RP. Like an RPer is someone, to me, who puts a lot of effort into their character and into their gameplay, way more effort than I do. I'm more of a pew pew player, and the most RPE thing that I do is to bring out a toy or a pet or do emotes, right? But these lore things that we've been talking about tonight, they bother me too. So it is affecting a substantial part of the community.
You're right. You are right, and I think the impact is maybe even more subtle, even for people that don't care about their own personal lore. It's sort of taking me out of the story in a little bit of a way too, because I mean, at least when I was watching the story go along, and I was, you know, Valkorion was a thing, and I was watching to see where it went. Here, where it is Asina or it's not Asina, I'm finding myself much less invested in the story, even personally, and not able to sort of bother to come up with even a headcanon of where my character is at, because I know it's almost like it's nothing you can sort of grab onto, because I don't, from character to character, I might not even remember if Asina exists for this character or not. I switch back and forth between characters. I don't necessarily make the same decisions on every single one. So that's kind of weird.
And I mean, and not only that, all my characters, in a way, in my head anyway, they live in the same galaxy, but I've only played through Iocath once.
Yeah.
I sided with the Empire. Does that mean all my characters have yeah, whatever. My brain's breaking right now. But
yeah. And I've played through it on multiple characters and sided with different. I know on my Republic character, on my Vanguard, I definitely sided with the Republic because I wanted Alara back. And I believe my mercenary sided with the Empire, although I'm not positive. So I don't even know.
But that's a good point. As a player, it's like, yeah. When I told Max when we were talking about this before, when I was reading through the Lana Benico piece on SWTOR.com, I skipped right over the buttons and I just kept on reading. In fact, I don't even think I clocked that they were buttons. I'm just anything that's like a rectangle like that. I think my brain just processes it as an ad. I just went by it. And I started reading, and I was way into the Republic version of it before I realized, oh, there's two versions. I have to go, wait, where am I?
Right.
So it's clunky for me. I mean, I was actually skimming and reading too fast, but I mean, that's going to happen.
Yeah. See this little
Yeah,
break
Suresh has
point
to die
here
in every
that's
universe.
this little break point here that's not even bolded, that just says data input : sided with Empress Asina and the Sith Empire on Iocath. That's the
Yeah.
break.
I read.
It's not even a
Yeah.
heading. It's not even but this is where it starts over and it repeats for the other reality. So
Yeah.
they didn't even make 2 pages for it, which is also a little bit difficult and weird. Oh, see, Seema here. I'm RPing. I'm emoting at you.
Yes,
I
because
got
you're
a little-
dancing. I was wondering why you were dancing all of a sudden.
I'm so happy that we're here on Kilron's ship. I gotta move. I gotta it makes me wanna put some moves, getting some moves on. I don't know. All right, let's finish up here. I don't think we actually get to. I don't think we get to have a dance off with Kilron, but we do get to mess with one of his minions. So we click on this little door panel. Yep. Think something bad's gonna happen. So we got some of our ship crew is hanging out.
I think, the 6 of us can take him on.
Little standoff. Ooh, he just did a little force move. This is the Sith apprentice. Oh, and he just force choked one of our. Oh, that was a little rough. I haven't watched this whole cutscene in a while. I usually spacebar through it. He just did a lightning, a saber throw, and impaled the guy he was force choking on the wall. He just crushed
I remember
the
when,
throat of someone else.
At last,
when this first came out
a
with
real
old
live
style hard mode,
Jedi.
quite a fight.
How I've looked forward to this. A true Sith cannot go long without a true challenge.
You think you're scary?
No one can stand up against me.
None
that
of
was
you
lame.
will leave here alive.
Vok.
To
His name
destroy
is
a
Vok.
dangerous foe. That is the way of a
You're
true Sith.
You're such a
When
boasty
I
Jedi.
carve your heart from your chest, your fellow Jedi will sense your defeat, as will my master.
Are you
Give up your
insane?
hatred.
You've clearly lost your mind.
Pitiful scum like you cannot grasp the full nature of the
Yeah, this
Sith.
guy is so
The
much more
power of the dark
intense than
side is
the
infinite.
Black Talon.
Are you ready to face oblivion?
When you get that Padawan girl that you have to fight. I'm gonna enjoy this. I think I'm gonna
I had
say.
hoped you would turn back from this madness.
I had hoped for a Jedi who could provide a true challenge.
Oh, I got a challenge for you.
I got your challenge right here. It's this weird droid-looking thing that's gonna kill you itself. Go ahead, T7. Get in the fight. Why is this guy not dead already? What the heck, man? The heck do you mean? So when you do Black Talon, you fight that. I mean, she's just as difficult to fight, but she is not intimidating in the least.
charging up our main
that
turbo lasers
Padawan
now.
you
Yeah.
fight.
In a few
Right.
moments, your
That
pathetic
Twi'lek
ship and
Padawan.
all your pathetic friends will be nothing but floating debris.
Oh, Kilron. All right, let's see what we got. We got some loot here. What'd you get? I got a aftermarket Pummeler's lightsaber MK2. Oh, it's actually an
I
upgrade.
got decorated pummelers, arm guards, MK2.
Nice. All right, all right.
Which I'm not going to equip because instead I have the I have my experience gear under the stress.
Hmm. You know what I've got under my dress? No,
I
I
don't.
don't know.
I'm really sorry I started that.
Are we doing the RP now, Seema? I put on my robe and my wizard hat. um, so here's Ambassador Asara, tiny Ambassador Asara. This is where we get to decide whether or not we're gonna throw her to the wolves.
Come on, get onto the shuttles. We have to hurry. If we launch
Yeah,
fast enough, I think we can
about
make it.
that.
Are you ready?
I'm gonna need you to go ahead and hang out here a little bit. Yeah, let's go.
Right behind you, Ambassador.
Let's just hope
Let's
Hawken
go,
has a
tiny
hyperdrive
ambassador.
ready. Come on.
Little tiny, little baby ambassador. Tiny little ambassador.
Dark side time. I mean, keep up.
Yeah.
Those were our Inquisitors.
Yeah. We're
These were
light
Jedi
siders.
Knights, man.
There's only peace. There's only the Force.
He's animation shaming
I'm
because of that one, or maybe it's more scenes where just her forehead shows, basically.
Just the cutscene where, yeah, where. Can you angle my camera down a little bit in the cutscene to get the tiny little ambassador down there? Oh, I didn't see you there, tiny ambassador. I didn't step on you, did I? First Officer Haken. Is this the guy that was freaking out earlier?
But he calmed down.
Get us out of here now.
Everyone's aboard. Plex. Porkins. Engage. Make it so, number one.
We're safe. You did it. You did what no one
Make
else
it
could
so,
have done.
number one.
You've saved us all. We owe you our lives, every one of us. So on behalf of the passengers and crew of the Republic Transport SLS, thank you.
Sean Picard. I was doing there for a second. We all just do our part. We all just do our part. I'm a Jedi.
Only doing what was right.
There's no reason for modesty. What you accomplished here is truly amazing. I took up a collection from everyone on the ship. Hopefully, these credits will help you save other people in need, the same way you saved us.
I don't need a reward.
More would have been better, but I'll get by.
You could have had more, of course, but
Seema apparently really needs the credits.
Ambassador Asara, it's a relief to see that you made it back.
I
to
like
us
the
safely
emotes
as
on
well.
this. They played that
It's a
well.
relief to be back, Hawken. I'm just glad that this is all finally over.
He did a little bit of a bashful look,
We're
sort of swing
finally
his
safe.
arms and look down.
I want to thank you again for everything.
Because remember,
you've
he
done.
was trying to say we should leave
Heroes
her
like
back
you
on
are
the.
hard to
Yes.
come by.
Yep.
And the Republic needs everyone they can get.
I'm no hero.
I was only doing what was right.
I just
I
said
mean
that.
it.
Jeez, how boring.
If you hadn't been here, they would all be dead for certain. I should warn you, though. Grand Moff Kilran is never going to forget what we've done. He'll stop at nothing to get his revenge.
He can try.
If Gilman
Yeah.
doesn't
Oh, try
contain us,
not. Try.
he's in for a surprise.
Just be sure to stay alert from now on. Kilran is full of surprises. Anyway,
Kilrun is
Enough of that.
awesome.
I'd say it's about time we all relaxed a bit and enjoyed the rest of our trip. Thanks again. And good luck in the future.
Nice. Okay. So that is the end of SLS. Introduction of Kilron to the story. We encounter Kilron, I think twice more. Although Kilron doesn't last all that long. So another,
I was just gonna say he's another one I was disappointed that gets killed off.
but at least it's consistent for us, and it's not like for you he's alive and for me he's not. So let's at least be happy about that, I'd say. And
Yeah.
and just to wrap up that
I am happy.
discussion, we'll see where we fall with 5.10 to 6.0, and if we can find some way to bring our universes back together, if we can collapse the waveform into a single coherent state, that will be really interesting, and I'd like that to happen. One other sort of side way I thought of that potentially happening was for that transition from 5.10 to 6.0, we could all end up frozen in carbonite or have some sort of time skip again. And if we get a time skip, then you can leave all of this sort of split universe behind. So who knows? Do a time skip, get another 10 years into the future, and there's a new emperor, and there's a new Supreme Chancellor, and there's a new Supreme Commander, and everything's in a consistent state across everyone's story, and they write it that way. We could do that, and we could end up there. Otherwise, get the killing,
Or we find out that we were actually dead all along and we're in heaven.
We were lost.
And all our
island.
companions are there. And the Wizard of Oz is there.
And you were there.
Auntie M is there.
I think.
Yeah, between
I think the killing.
you wake up.
I think the killing, and if we get to be part of that too, where you straighten out the universe, we go hire Crumbopulous Michael to go just start killing off everybody that needs to be dead in both timelines, and then get back to.
No. I think Force Chuckle's onto something. So like in the very, very beginning of Knights of the Old Coffee, when we wake up, it was like a fake wake up.
That is genius. We were frozen in carbonite, and this was all of Knights of the Fallen Empire and Knights of the Eternal Throne. Yes. That was all a dream. All the way up to this point was all a dream while we were still in carbonite. And all that's going to get rewound, and we're going to get a new story that starts at that point for 6.0. Oh, that is brilliant. And with that, I think we'll close out for tonight. We can take that to the bank with EPC 270, load that into this astromech, kick them out an airlock, and we'll bank on that. So we just spoiled 6.0 for everybody, but it was all a dream.
Yeah.
Yes, and Bob Newhart will be there, and
and Suzanne Plachette.
So we'll wake up and instead of Lana, it'll be Suzanne Plachette pulling us out of carbonite.
Right.
And that's where we'll be with that. So if you want to be with us when Suzanne Plachette gets injected into Star Wars The Old Republic, please keep up with us on Twitter. Sorry. Killing me here. At Max the Gray and at AIE SEMA. And if you know any interesting, awesome people like yourselves who should be playing this game with us, turn them on to the podcast. Tell them to check us out on newoverlords.com for all of the feeds, or on YouTube, New Overlords, for the video version of this podcast, or twitch.tv/newoverlords for the live version, which we usually do on Tuesday nights. But most importantly, come track us down on Starforge or on our guild website, aie-guild.org, where you can get on our guild Discord, and you can check in with us and get an invite to come join us on Starforge and play the game with us, because we would love to have you. And we will talk to you soon.
Later, everyone.